Does the WWE have too much stock in the bloodline? Oba Femi's push, LeBron James, and much more. Tables, ladders, and chill starts now.
Archie, this is what I'm bringing to the table this week. Is Oba Femi's push overly hyped? Is it too soon? At 27 years old, they already got this man looking unbeatable. And the way he's being pushed to where, in my eyes, I can't see nobody beating him but Brock Lesnar. He's 27 years old. He's only been in the main roster for maybe 4 or 5 months. His first WrestleMania match was against Brock Lesnar. He's already in the finals of the King of the Ring. If they put the belt on this man so soon, 5 years from now, what's going to be left with Oba Femi? Who can beat Oba Femi if he's already dominating this hard so early in the game? For me, I just feel like it's okay for him to lose. It's okay. But the way they built him, how does he lose? Who beats him? Who can beat him? Where does he go a year from now? I don't like it. It's just too much, too soon. Too much, too soon. I like to see somebody climb the ladder, take their losses, and fight through it. I like to see the chase. I don't like to see anybody just come through and just run shot through the roster so quickly like that because it's overkill for me. I already know what I'm going to see as soon as he walks to the ring. I'm already knowing it's going to be a flatline defeat within 5 minutes or so. Yeah, as soon as he marched to the ring, and it's cool. I love his interest. I love the crowd reaction that he gets and all. I want to see him face somebody that we know that he's not going to squash, and I want to see what they're going to do with that. What you think about it?
I've said this from the very beginning. My biggest fear for Oba Femi was the main roster. My
Mm,
biggest fear for Oba Femi was that he was going to become, no disrespect, but Ryback 2.0.
mm,
Once you attach a definitive moment and win to a Brock Lesnar, there's nowhere for him to really go week to week. Oba came in hot, scorching hot. Like there's not been a hotter superstar in the WWE than Oba Femi, to the point where his opening match on ESPN, people looked at it as the main event.
right.
So it's tough for him and it's tough for the company because what do you do? Where do you go? But once you beat Brock Lesnar, you shouldn't lose to anybody else
Right.
but Brock Lesnar. So
Mm,
I don't know. I don't know about Oba Femi. I'm a fan. I just don't know what you do with him. Again, the slow, steady build in wrestling, the chase is what makes superstars. You come in hot, you slay the beast. There's nothing for you to do really, in my opinion. But we'll see. We'll see.
right.
What I'm bringing to the table this week is the head of the table, the OTC. I prepared a statement because I want to know, does the WWE have too much stock in the bloodline? Absolutely, without a question, the answer is yes and no. When you got a generational storyline led by Roman Reigns featuring Jey Uso becoming a main event star, Sami Zayn delivering the performance of his career, and Paul Heyman orchestrating it all, why wouldn't you put stock in it? That's what you call riding a hot hand. But here's where I have a problem. The bloodline became so dominant at times, and currently WWE act like there's nothing else going on, or there's not many other stories worth telling. Every episode, every PLE, every angle somehow finds its way back to Roman Reigns and his family drama. Meanwhile, you got talented performers sitting on the bench. You got world titles that feel and felt secondary. You got storylines that struggle to gain momentum because fans were conditioned to think, "Wake me up when Roman Reigns is back on the screen." The bloodline wasn't the problem. That's the danger. The over reliance of the bloodline is the problem. Because professional wrestling is at its best when you got multiple attractions. The bloodline, the women's division, the world title picture, tag teams, rising stars. But when one story becomes 70, 80% of the conversation, eventually the rest of the show starts to feel like a card filler. When Roman Reigns stepped away, came back, stepped away, came back. It did create stars. You got Cody, had LA Knight, had Damian Priest. You got Penta, Oba Femi, like you mentioned, and all these other stars, even elevated Jey Uso. But that's what should happen. The bloodline should be the main course. It shouldn't be the entire menu. We've had 2 to 3 versions of Roman Reigns' bloodline, 2 to 3 versions of Solo's MFTs, which is the bloodline, and now the current new bloodline. And that's my point. It should be part of the menu, but not the whole menu. The decision to roll with the bloodline, A plus. But that's not the only decision. What do you think about that?
What what is the bloodline? Who's in the bloodline?
Roman Reigns. There's no bloodline without Roman Reigns.
You mentioned bloodline being on the menu. Um, Bloodline's been on the menu for over 40 years, 50 actually, starting with High Chief Peter Maivia. Main course, it started with The Rock. That's the bloodline. The bloodline is all those Samoan wrestlers from past and today. They've been a part of WWE's storyline for 50 plus years. It's just now we have a lot of them in the company at one time to where you can't help but to put them in a storyline. It's cinema. It tells a story. It's like soap opera. If you watch soap opera, there's certain stories that you may not be into, may be into. There's different stories to it. Bloodline story in WWE just so happened to be the main course because that is what's bringing in the money.
Here's a question. If we knew the New York Knicks were going to play the San Antonio Spurs in the NBA Finals, should we not have had a regular season? What I'm saying is there should be more focus on other things other than the bloodline. Because there have been times where if the bloodline wasn't on the TV, like I said, it felt like filler TV. You ever got a pizza and they cut the slices wrong? It's like, dog, why is this big piece over here and the rest? How I'm gonna divide this up evenly if it's not cut evenly? Yes, the main attraction deserves attention. Yes, your money maker deserves attention, but so does everything else. The Rock, huge star, huge part of Attitude Era. But you also built the Taker at that time. You built the Austin at that time. You had people tuned in to see Crash Holly while The Rock and all of them was still doing their things. You cared about it because the company, it felt like they cared about it. It just feels WWE only cares about this. When your QB1 and QB2, how they refer to themselves now, when your QB1 goes down, you just need to have a QB2. When Drew Bledsoe went down, that's how we got Tom Brady. When Roman Reigns goes down, it shouldn't be we don't know who's going to be the quarterback or there's no good TV to watch. So that was my question in saying, is there too much stock in the bloodline and so many different versions of it? We're in like the fifth, sixth, seventh version of the bloodline, which I'm not gonna lie, it's entertaining. Who knows what Jacob Fatu is gonna do? It still should be other entertaining things during the show, not just the beginning and the end.
I would say that's probably the talent's fault for not gaining our attention. Like for me, I'm gonna tell you, Monday night. This is what I get excited to see on Monday when I know that the Bloodline is gonna be on there because I want to see how what they're gonna do with the story. And I ain't gonna hold you. My favorite person to watch on Monday Night Raw is Raquel Rodriguez. I'm interested in her story, the Judgment Day story. There's other stories out there. It's just the Bloodline's the main event, man.
And even that, as hot as the Judgment Day was scorching hot this past
Yeah,
year or two. They taking a back seat.
yeah.
So the Judgment Day couldn't be equally as hot while the Bloodline was going on? Or does everything have to take a back seat to it? Dominic Mysterio was probably the most over superstar for a while. Liv
Mm,
Morgan, they were heating up. Bloodline was people tuned in. They got new eyes on the product because of that. But once the Bloodline in its full iteration is there, including Roman, it's like everything else stops. Let them go.
mm,
And that's the difference because in the Attitude Era, you had Kane, Undertaker, Austin, Rock, Mankind. Then after that, you know, your Jericho's, your Kurt Angles, all these people coexisted at the same time. It wasn't a this stops. You would have a random match on a Monday. It'd be like Stone Cold versus The Rock randomly. It's like everything didn't stop. It still revolved around each other and it worked. It intertwined. But even with the Bloodline, it feels like it's its own separate thing
mm.
that once it stops, the product shouldn't suffer, is all I'm saying. But, you know, y'all argue about it in the chats.
This week I'm down on the ladder. I'm down. I'm down. I've been down for months now. It for me it started with a girl, Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill finally wins the big one. She's the women's champion. She would go out and she would wrestle weekly. She would wrestle weekly. She created a trio with her, Michin, and B-Fab. I only remember her defending her title one time, and that's when she lost it at WrestleMania. Liv Morgan, she wins the championship at WrestleMania. Big moment for her because I think she lost all her WrestleMania matches prior to this one. Off of winning the Royal Rumble is how she won the Women's Championship as well. She has not yet defended her title. She hasn't even had a singles match yet. These Julia was United States champion. They didn't do anything with that title run. It's hard for me to remember who the women tag team champions are. Now they are doing things with that title, but it's like a clusterfuck for me. Sasha Banks, Bayley, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, even the reason for the main event at WrestleMania, Ronda Rousey, fought so hard to put the women's division to where it's equal to the men's division. And it's like they're taking a step back now with the women's division. I truly believe in my heart, even though I'm not a fan of Rhea Ripley, Rhea Hogan, she can main event a WrestleMania. These women can main event a night one of a WrestleMania. But you don't do anything when they have the championships, when they hold the titles. The big wins for Rhea Ripley, she's been chasing that belt for like a year and a half because she couldn't beat Io Sky. She never defeated Io Sky. She beat Jade Cargill. She hasn't even defended her title yet. None of the women who won their championships at WrestleMania has defended their championships. Except for once. Rhea did defend her title once against Jade Cargill at Clash of Elite, I believe. But other than that, they're not defending their titles. They're just walking around with the belt on their waist. And it's just like you said, there are other stars sitting up here who can have these moments and do things with the titles, but they don't do anything with the titles. There's too many championships as it is. You're giving me every reason to say some of these championships need to be disbanded. if you're not going to do anything with it. You can hold the championship for 100 and something days, but then you look at the title defenses and you only got one. That's not a champion. That's not a fighting champion. That's just where I'm coming from with it. I'm down. I'm down with the current state of the women's division when it comes to the championship factor.
Listen, bro, it's a crime and a shame what's been happening in the women's division for the past 5 years. It's a crime and a shame what they've done to legends like Oscar. It's a crime and a shame what they're doing with new talents like Jada Parker. The gap between Jada and Oscar's careers are so far, but they're getting the same treatments.
Mm,
And there's no excuse for it, there's no reason for it. When you have your own TV time and events, there's time to grow and build the female division. Your champion shouldn't have a title that people don't see or see that they don't defend. Male, female, men, women, that's just what it is. What was the biggest complaint about Brock Lesnar being champ? We never see the title. I'd rather never see the title than see the title when it never gets defended.
mm.
The WWE's women division have had international superstars. You had Kyrie Sane, you got Io Sky, you got Julia, you got Stephanie Vacure. You've had superstars come from other companies like a Jordan Grace. They're doing absolutely nothing to build the women's division and build stars because even when I was covering NXT, I would have bet my last dollar that the next wave of superstars from NXT would have already been on and popping in the main roster, with the exception of Lash Legend and Sol Ruka, who are just now getting there. But the NXT women's division have been developing the talent at a high level in the women's division for the past 2, 3 years. And even if you feel your developmental talent ain't ready, you don't bring in international superstars and, no disrespect, pair them with Kiana James and do nothing with them.
Hold on, before you get on that, shout out to fighting's women's champion Becky Lynch, though. Shout out to her. She took that Intercontinental Championship and she made that title look more prestigious than the women's championship. I would say she is a fighting champion. I love what she did with the title. I and when she drops the belt, she elevates the person who she drops it to. I love the Intercontinental Championship for the women's division. I love what they're doing with that. But other than that championship, every other championship that the women's have, they need to do better. They need to do better. But what you down on or
Listen,
up on?
man, I prepared a statement. This is one of the biggest problems WWE has today, and we've all been screaming it. This would actually help build talent if people remembered them. It's real simple. I'm an artist. I make really great music. So I feel like I can say this. The entrances and the music don't hit the same anymore. So I'm down on that. And before the WWE defenders come running talking about streaming numbers, production quality, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that feeling. That moment when the music hits before the wrestler even walked through the curtain, 15,000 people losing their minds. Back in the day, the music was a character. When you heard the glass shatter, you knew it was Stone Cold Steve Austin. When you heard "If You Smell," you knew The Rock was about to electrify the building. You hit a gong, dead man. No chance in heck. Vince McMahon. The music wasn't background noise. The music was the event, a part of the event. And let's look at the all-time heavyweight champions of entrance music. Metalingus, Edge. Call the Personality, CM Punk. The Game, Triple H. Shout out to Motorhead. Sexy Boy, Shawn Michaels. Classics, Randy Orton's Voices. Batista's I Walk Alone. Chris Jericho, Break the Walls Down. Kane. He even had no words. But you knew that's Kane. Christian Cage, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy. It goes on and on and on. Even
Hey,
current, it's a few bangers out there. You got Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins. Jey Uso has a great entrance. But a wrestler music hits and half the crowd needs 3 seconds to figure out who it is. This last year's Royal Rumble was so difficult for me with the women's division because I had no idea who was coming to the ring till I physically saw them in the ring. Back in the Attitude Era and Ruthless Aggression era, one note. That's all you needed. That's why people still pop when they hear the old themes 20 years later. Because WWE themes used to be branding. They used to be identity. They used to tell you exactly who the superstar was before they took one step down the ramp. And that's why when fans say the music doesn't slap anymore, we're not saying every modern theme is bad. They're saying the average theme used to be memorable. Not the average theme is just the entrance. And in professional wrestling, it's a huge difference. That's the difference between a reaction and a pop.
bring back Jim Johnston.
Like, I don't know if it's Jim Johnston who can save the day, but hey, the Archie Carter's available for work. FTZ, you're a chill guy, and this is my favorite part of the show, the chill. So, what you chilling with today, FTZ?
Go James, LeBron James. Oh man, where did I want to know? Like, I'm very intrigued on seeing where he goes next season. Does he stay with the Lakers? I'm hearing Golden State Warriors is an option. I'm hearing Cavs was an option. For me, being a Lakers fan, of course I would love to see him stay with the Lakers. I think that's probably where it's going to be. But if we're talking about LeBron's last final years and where he plays, I think the story writes itself for it to be where he ends it in Cleveland. It's just they're in such a tough spot right now to where I don't even think they can get him. They would have to do a lot of trades and opting out and stuff like that. Um, LeBron, man, right now to me it has to be go somewhere where you know you got a good shot at winning the championship. With the Lakers, though, I don't see it happening. For some reason, Luca and LeBron, I could be wrong, but to me, they just do not gel right. They do not gel right. It's like two worlds colliding. And LeBron said it. He ain't playing the three or the two to anybody. He ain't. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm glad the season's over with just because I want the new season to hurry up and start because I want to see where LeBron lands. Do he stay with the Lakers? Do he go with Golden State? Look, I'm not really big on Golden State just because I feel like they are a cheat code, a cheat code of a team. Um, but man, seeing LeBron and Steph Curry would be very interesting. Very, very interesting. What do I want? I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want. I just want LeBron to win the championship ring again. That's what I want. I just want him to make the right decision, go where he knows that he has a good shot at winning the championship. I love to see him stay with the Lakers, but I don't see him winning a championship with that team in the current state that they are in. So I'm just excited to see what's going to happen with LeBron James, man, this current season. Where do you think he
Listen,
go?
um, he going wherever they can afford to pay him. That's the
Yeah.
thing about LeBron. If you're talking about going to a contender, contenders have stars.
Right.
They have to find money. So normally I would say it's my head versus my heart, but in this case, it's his heart versus his pocket. I can go to Cleveland and go on a tour like Kobe and get my flowers and retire into the sunset, or I can take a pay cut. I don't even know if his what his pay cut would be to fit in somebody's salary cap. That's the business of basketball. That's the thing I don't know about. So I don't know where LeBron goes. Cleveland would be cool to return it back home. I don't know if the relationships are mended with the city and the owner because that got ugly. That got real ugly. It's LeBron. It's what you want to do. It's where you want to go. I'm pretty sure the world and NBA is his playground because it is LeBron James. The only thing I don't want to see is what's going to happen his last season, the tickets skyrocket, and the true fans who can't afford the luxury that most people can of just being on your phones, center court, are going to miss
Right.
out on seeing it live in person.
Yeah.
That's all I want. Speaking of LeBron James, this is what I'm chilling with today, and I think this is very chill, and I prepared a statement. Let's take a moment and appreciate something. In a world where we spend so much time talking about broken relationships, absent fathers, and missed opportunities, look at what we're witnessing in sports. A father and son sharing the NBA court, a father and son hitting back to back home runs, a father son racing against each other at the highest of level in NASCAR, and a father helping coach his son all the way to the NBA championships. I'm talking about LeBron James and LeBron James Jr., King Griffey Jr., Dale Earnhardt Jr., Rick Brunson, and his son Jalen Brunson, who just won the NBA championship. We see this a lot in wrestling because we have seen second and third generation superstars. But in other sports, it's extremely rare, and it's happening now, and sometimes it's bigger than sports because we're watching fathers who didn't just show up for the photo. They showed up for practices. They showed up for the long drives. They showed up for the failures, the setbacks, the tears, the doubts, and the moments nobody else will ever see. When you see LeBron James standing next to Bronny, you're seeing years of sacrifice. When you see King Griffey Sr. and King Griffey Jr. share a field, you're seeing a dream come full circle. When you think about Dale Earnhardt and Dale Earnhardt Jr. racing on a racetrack, you're seeing legacy pass from one generation to the next. And when you see Rick Brunson and Jalen Brunson celebrating a championship together, you're seeing what happens when a father pours everything he has to helping his son become the best version of himself. That's the real story. Not the trophies, not the rings, not the championships. The real story is a father being present long enough, loving enough, and committed enough to see his son succeed. Shout out to the girl dads, those who help their daughters succeed. Because every son remembers who was in the stands. Every son remembers who stayed after practice. Every son remembers who believed in him before the world did. That's why these moments hit different. They remind us that sometimes the greatest legacy a man leaves behind isn't a record, a title, or a Hall of fame plaque. It's his son and or daughter or children. But shout out to the dads in sports who have had these legendary, incredible once in a lifetime moments. I don't know which one of these are my favorite. Coaching my son to an NBA championship would be amazing. But guess what? Racing my son on a NASCAR track would be amazing. Amazing. My son throwing me an alley in the NBA playoff is amazing. Or my dad hitting a home run, then I hit a home run back to back. Equally amazing. I don't know which one of these is my favorite moment, but shout out to all the dads out there in the kids' life, and especially the sports dad, because sports parenting is tough. It's expensive. It takes a lot of time, a lot of patience, but it pays off if you stick with it. So shout out to everybody out there doing the best they can in their parental journeys. Got anything on that, Frank?
I'm surprised you didn't mention the Andretti's. You being a big NASCAR fan, I'm surprised you didn't mention the Andretti's.
Well, Mario only raced in NASCAR briefly, but you know Dale and Del Senior, they battled it
Yeah.
out. But I'm not perfect. I miss a few.
No, I'm just saying. Um, for me, I'm not trying to glaze the man because I already talked about him, but my favorite duo was LeBron and Bronny. That that's amazing. And then to play on the same team. Watching Bron sit on the sidelines when he's taking his break and watching him watch his son, it's a sight to see. And what makes that special is the fact that there is a chance that he may still be playing, LeBron that is, when his other son gets into the NBA.
Bryce,
Bryce. That's that
listen.
that
This is TLC Tables, Ladders, and Chill. We talk wrestling, rational sports, entertainment. But listen, if you the manager at Walmart and you got your son a job, shout out to you too. I'm a fan of nepotism, baby. If you own a tractor supply and your son, hey, listen, it's not just the glamorous sports life I'm talking about. I'm talking about any parent that's there to help and guide their kid along the way through life because we all need guidance. Shout out to you. Some moments might be bigger than others. You might be the best Honda salesman in Buttermilk, South Carolina, and your dad gonna be equally as proud because you sold all them Hondas out of Buttermilk, South Carolina Honda. So shout out to you too.
hey Archie, it's a question I got. And the question is champ, change, or chop? Who would you make the champion? Who would you repackage? Or who would you get rid of?
Mm.
You got three women wrestlers.
Champ, change, top. All right.
Charlotte Flair,
Charlotte Flair,
Jade Cargill,
Jade Cargill,
Tiffany Stratton.
Tiffany Stratton. Champ, change, chop. My champ would be Charlotte Flair. There's Charlotte Flair is the LeBron James of the WWE. We just spoke about LeBron James twice in this show. And I only say that because Charlotte Flair receives hate just because she's great. I'm not the biggest LeBron James fan, but I know a hater when I see a hater because I'm a hater. So my champ will be Charlotte Flair. I would change Jade Cargill. I don't like the fact that the WWE just took Jade Cargill from AEW, hit copy, then hit paste. So they really did. She was on a winning streak in AEW. She first came to WWE, with the exception of the disqualification against Nia Jax. I don't know of many losses. She had an entourage in AEW. What were they called? The Baddies. She has an entourage in WWE. What are they called? The Baddies. So I would change Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill could be a uber baby face if played right. Jade Cargill could be a amazing heel if played right. I think they're kind of in the middle with Jade because she's a fan favorite and she's kind of an anti-hero. You either love her or you hate her, but I will repackage Jade. And unfortunately, I was the number one teller of Tiffy time. If anybody asked you what time it was last year, it's Tiffy time. But unfortunately, in this scenario, I will have to chop Tiffany Stratton only because I don't feel out of those two or three that I would make her my champion or I would repackage her because I don't know what I would repackage Tiffany Stratton as.
Mm,
So, but I love Tiffany Stratton. So,
I don't. She's chopped. N- No more Tiffy time. She can go to NXT somewhere for all I care. Um, the champ for me is Jade Cargill. I love her, bro. I I I, I love her.